Welcome to Chaotic, where we explore the world's most devastating natural and self-caused chaos. From the earth-shattering power of earthquakes to the destructive force of human conflict, we'll delve into the events that have shaped our world and left an enduring mark on history. The morning of December 26, 2004, began like any other. Families across the Indian Ocean region went about their daily routines, unaware of the disaster that loomed beneath the surface. Then at 7:58 a.m. local time, the earth roared. An enormous earthquake, registering between 9.1 and 9.3 on the Richter scale, ripped through the ocean floor off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. This wasn't just a tremor, it was one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. The epicenter, the point on the Earth's surface directly above the earthquake's origin, was located deep beneath the ocean. This underwater upheaval was so powerful that it displaced trillions of tons of water, setting in motion a chain of events that would have devastating consequences. The earthquake's tremors were felt thousands of miles away, shaking buildings and triggering panic as far as Bangladesh and Singapore. Little did anyone know that this was just the beginning of a far greater catastrophe. The earthquake had unleashed a silent and deadly force, a tsunami. Tsunamis are not just giant waves, they are walls of water generated by seismic events like earthquakes or underwater volcanic eruptions. Imagine the ocean floor as a giant bathtub. When the earthquake struck, it acted like a massive hand, abruptly pushing up a section of the bathtub floor. This sudden vertical displacement of the seafloor forced an enormous volume of water upwards. This displacement created a ripple effect, like throwing a stone into a pond, but on a gargantuan scale. Waves radiated outwards from the epicenter, traveling at incredible speeds across the ocean. While these waves might have been barely noticeable in the open ocean, their energy remained constant. As these waves approached shallower coastal waters, their behavior changed dramatically. The energy packed into the wave was compressed, causing the water to rise vertically, forming colossal walls of water. This is what makes tsunamis so destructive. Their height increases exponentially as they near the shore. The tsunami waves, some reaching heights of over 100 feet, crashed into coastal communities with terrifying force. Coastal areas of Indonesia, closest to the epicenter, were the first to be hit. Buildings were reduced to rubble, trees uprooted, and entire villages swept away within minutes. The waves, carrying debris and unimaginable power, continued their relentless journey across the Indian Ocean. Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Somalia, and even distant countries in Africa felt the devastating impact of the tsunami. The waves traveled thousands of miles, bringing destruction to countries that had no warning of the impending disaster. The tsunami's impact was swift and merciless. It highlighted the awesome power of nature and the vulnerability of human life in the face of such catastrophic events. The world watched in horror as the scale of the disaster unfolded, and the true human cost of the tsunami began to emerge. The 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami was one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Over 227,000 people lost their lives across 14 countries. The sheer scale of the tragedy was difficult to comprehend. Entire families were wiped out, leaving behind unimaginable grief and loss. Indonesia, the closest country to the epicenter, bore the brunt of the tsunami's fury. Coastal communities were decimated and the death toll reached staggering numbers. Thailand, Sri Lanka, and India also suffered significant casualties, with thousands losing their lives to the unforgiving waves. The tsunami did not discriminate. Locals and tourists alike were caught in its path. The disaster brought home the fragility of life and the importance of international cooperation in the face of such tragedies. The world mourned with the affected nations and rallied to provide aid and support. Section 5, Early Warnings. Could we have done more? The 2004 tsunami raised critical questions about disaster preparedness, particularly the importance of early warning systems. While earthquakes are notoriously difficult to predict, the tsunami that followed was a foreseeable consequence. The lack of a coordinated tsunami warning system in the Indian Ocean meant that many communities were caught completely off guard. If there had been an effective system in place, perhaps lives could have been saved. The time to evacuate coastal areas, even if just minutes, could have made a world of difference. The disaster served as a wake-up call for the international community. It highlighted the need for investment in early warning systems, not just in the Indian Ocean, but in all vulnerable regions around the world. The tragedy spurred global efforts to establish and strengthen such systems with the hope of preventing a similar disaster from claiming so many lives again. Section 6. Reacting to disaster, the global response to the tsunami. In the immediate aftermath of the tsunami, the world responded with an outpouring of compassion and support. Governments, aid organizations, and individuals from all corners of the globe mobilized to provide humanitarian assistance to the affected countries. Rescue workers raced against time to find survivors trapped beneath the rubble, while medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the injured. Food, water and shelter became critical needs as displaced survivors sought refuge. The disaster tested the limits of logistical capabilities, but the spirit of human kindness shone through. The disaster highlighted the importance of international cooperation in the face of such immense challenges. Nations put aside their differences and worked together to provide aid and support. The outpouring of global assistance provided a glimmer of hope amidst the devastation. Section 7. Rebuilding lives, the long road to recovery. The physical damage caused by the tsunami was evident, but the emotional and psychological scars ran deep. Rebuilding lives and communities after such a devastating event was a monumental task, one that would require time, resources, and unwavering resilience. Homes and infrastructure needed to be reconstructed, but so did lives. The loss of loved ones, homes, and livelihoods left many traumatized. Providing psychological support and counseling services became crucial to helping survivors cope with the invisible wounds left by the disaster. The recovery process was long and arduous, but the resilience of the human spirit shone through. With the support of the international community, communities slowly began to heal and rebuild. The tsunami served as a reminder of the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most unimaginable adversity. Section 8. Lessons from the waves, preparing for the future. The 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami was a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of disaster preparedness. The tragedy taught the world valuable lessons about the need for early warning systems, disaster risk reduction measures, and international cooperation. The disaster spurred the development of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System, IOTWMS. This system, established under the auspices of the United Nations, aims to provide timely warnings to countries in the region in the event of another tsunami threat. The 2004 tsunami emphasized the importance of being prepared, not just in the Indian Ocean, but in all vulnerable regions around the world. It underscored the need for community-based disaster preparedness programs, public awareness campaigns, and evacuation plans. Section 9. A Safer Tomorrow, Remembering the Tsunami. The 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions. It left behind a legacy of loss, but also one of resilience, international cooperation, and a renewed focus on disaster preparedness. As we remember those who were lost and honor their memory, let us also acknowledge the progress made in disaster preparedness since that fateful day. The establishment of early warning systems, the strengthening of international cooperation, and the increased focus on community-based disaster risk reduction measures offer hope for a safer tomorrow. The 2004 tsunami serves as a reminder that we must never become complacent. The forces of nature are powerful, but by working together and learning from past tragedies, we can mitigate risks and build more resilient communities. Let us honor the memory of those lost by striving to create a safer world for generations to come. Please like, subscribe, and share this video to support our channel and stay updated with more content.